get back into the draft, try and steer this conversation back into the game at hand of Virtus.pro versus Royal Never Give Up. Teams we've seen on this stream already tonight. RNG was involved in a game against Newbie in which they lost on this stream, and then Virtus.pro played Vici to start the night off, and they won that game. And these are a lot of new heroes here for Stream 2. Razor's new, CK's new, Darkseer and Lifestealer both getting through here, and honestly, I'm looking for at least the RNG side. How do you get this Lifestealer into the fight? With that Infest pop, I'm thinking like maybe a puck mid, something that can be mobile, maybe something that blinks.
Yeah,
but we'll
man,
see.
I've been waiting for VP to play for. Oh my god, I wanted to see VP play in this patch because, well, two reasons. Number one, these guys are really good about not giving a damn about what other people are picking and just drafting to like counter the meta, even if the heroes aren't. There you go. Yes, I was about to say. I think Lifestealer is incredibly overrated, and people aren't picking counters to it. And you have to pick Razors, you have to pick Shadow Demons because he has a BKB Piercing Purge on the ultimate. Like, you have to pick heroes that don't care about Lifestealer's magic immunity. You have to pick heroes that don't just get shredded by Lifestealer. Every single game that I see Lifestealer in, there's a Shadow Shaman against him. There's a Shadow Fiend against him. There are these heroes that Lifestealer doesn't give a single damn about. And nobody's picking the Banes. Nobody's picking the Shadow Demons. Nobody's laning Razors into him. But VP is. Because these guys, they don't care. They'll just pick whatever. Like, even if it's not considered good in the current meta, they'll pick it.
Ooh.
So I'm glad to see this. Juggernaut. So that's potentially an offlane Razor. Potentially, no, it's probably an offlane CK. But it's still a Razor against a Lifestealer. I still like that. Nyx Assassin? I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, Nyx Assassin. I mean, it would be kind of cool, the Vendetta with a Surge. Get right up on somebody and then pop the Infest if you want to go that direction.
10 seconds remaining.
Sure.
That's your game
that's,
plan.
That's a good point. That's there's your Lifestealer bomb. The Nyx Lifestealer has been, I think Bounty Lifestealer was something that we saw for. It was very popular a couple of months, maybe like 6 months to a year back for a couple of weeks, and people were literally first phasing in every single game. Then I believe there were some nerfs to both heroes, but like Invis plus Lifestealer is always going to be really good because you can just run around and pick somebody off from. It basically allows Lifestealer to be invisible, but also I think Nyx Assassin is just a lot better of a hero since the recent patches because he's always been a decent hero. He's got good stuns. Meteor Hammer got buffed. He has scouting, but he also got the level 10 talent to his gold, the gold gain that he gets from that talent. It was increased from I believe 60 to 90. So this hero as a support is basically going to be guaranteed to get items. You can get the Agnum Scepter, you can get a potential Midas, you can get Meteor Hammer. And this isn't a meta where everybody's going Midas, particularly because the gold from the creeps, from the melee creeps, has been changed. There's one less Ancient Camp. Like there's less gold on the map right now in Dota. So any hero who has gold talents, any hero like Bounty Hunter who gets the extra gold from the track, any hero who builds into Midas, these heroes are going to be better because they're going to have more items in a meta where everybody else has been slowed down in terms of their item growth in the game. So I do like the Nyx just in general. Maybe not against Jug so much, but it's just a good hero, I think.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, against that Jug, because the Jug came out afterwards.
Yeah, they like insta-picked it. I think they had an idea that they wanted to pick Jug, and then they see the Nyx, and it's like, all right, it's Nyx Darkseer. Jug can just spin the wave, clear the Darkseer Ion Shell, clear the entire wave. He doesn't care about the Ion Shell. That's like a typical carry counter to Darkseer. And then it's also a typical carry counter to Nyx Assassin. Because you just spin and the Carapace does nothing. He can't just get away from you. You have the kill potential in the lane with the spin. Whereas other heroes, they'll get kited by the Carapace into stun. Jug doesn't. He just kills the Nyx. So that does mean that they've revealed their mid pick, though. Like, it's either Razor or CK in the mid lane, and it's almost guaranteed Razor, but this is VP we're talking about, so I wouldn't put it past them to run Chaos Knight on like a 4 position, maybe even run like a Razor on a 4 position. I've seen people in NA pubs running like Razor 5, going Windlace first and then just draining damage and zoning an offlaner. There's a lot of like wacky stuff that can happen here. Who was last pick? Royal Never Give Up do, so they can't do any last pick shenanigans on VP, but get Dazzle. So Dazzle plus CK, potentially offlane.
It's pretty good offlane, and I've been seeing a lot more tri-lanes, but 2-1-2 is pretty popular. Or again,
actually, that's true. The Dazzle plus Shadow Demon is a pretty good combo because you purge, or you put somebody under and then create the illusions. You just group up around them, and you do so much damage with the Dazzle heal because obviously it benefits from the illusions plus the heroes that group around. So it's a lot of damage. So tri-lane would be pretty good, I think, for sure. But you are tri-laning against like a Darkseer Nyx. It's possible that they just leave the Darkseer alone and cuts the wave, and maybe he'll just do fine in this lane.
So Queen of Pain
is a bit of an answer to the Razor mid. Just blink away from the damage steal. Okay, so we have Pasha on Razor, we have Roger as a 4 CK, and no one on mid Dazzle. So they're actually gonna run the Razor into the Lifestealer, which I really like. This is the sole reason why I think Lifestealer is a relatively overrated hero right now, is because you can do exactly this. They're just gonna follow the Razor into the Lifestealer's lane, and then the CK, even though they first picked it, they can just flex this to be a 4 position, and it's gonna do relatively fine. Really, what's the difference between 4 roll and offlane right now? They're kind of interchangeable for the most part, so this allows them to just hard counter this Lifestealer in the lane, and he can't really jungle that fast. He can jungle because he can lifesteal, but he doesn't do it quickly. So that would be really good for them if he goes to the jungle. I'll be interested to see how RNG respond to this in terms of where they put their heroes in the lane.
I'm interested to see that this Dazzle is in a core role. I mean, I wasn't quite expecting it with the
CK pick.
Yeah, with CK, Razor, and Jug, it's like those are definitely the 3 that stand out at you. Like, hey, these are going to be your cores, and you think you have lanes for all 3 of them immediately. But again, it's Virtus.pro where I talked about it with Gods, where it's like they have so much chemistry, they're such good players, the talent's all there that they can get away with something like this.
Yep. This is like exactly why I was excited to see them playing this patch, because I feel like there's been a lot of stuff that has been plaguing pubs, but not due to those heroes being particularly amazing. Sure, they're good, but it's more so people aren't picking the right stuff against them, and I figured that VP would. VP's not just going to let it slide, that there's an uncountered Lifestealer, for example, on the enemy team. And RNG looks to respond to this by just swapping up the lanes, running the Lifestealer at the bot lane. Which is interesting that VP is not anticipating this, because if you're a Lifestealer and you see a Razor on the enemy team, your first intuition is that he's coming to your lane.
Seconds to battle.
I'd like to say that VP are definitely the much more talented team at the moment, but I mean, you got guys on RNG that are no stranger to tier 1 competition. That's for sure.
You're saying there's new players on this team, right? Flyby's their new offlaner.
Flyby's their new offlaner, and then they got Lanham instead of September. So, Flyby's relatively new. I think he joined in December, and then Lanham is new for this event. They were with Sep up to that point.
Let's see, what is his rank? This is all that matters. I can't see it. He hasn't calibrated the season, but let me tell you, he's got a bunch of rampages on his profile, so he's legit. Look at this. VP scouting out the lanes. They see that the Darkseer is top, so immediately Pasha just heads bot. But they might see RNG also swapping these lanes. Look at Pasha. He's just behind the tower. He's scouting these lane rotations. He doesn't see either of those heroes. He just wasn't able to catch a glimpse of them. So this is good for RNG. I mean, if it's good for anybody, it's good for the supports. All the supports are just getting free lanes in the side lanes here. This is like the one situation where supports just get to free farm in the lanes.
Having some fun, at least for now.
Good time to be a support. Not a great time to be VP, because you're going to run this Razor to the bottom lane and realize that Darkseer is just down here already.
The Darkseer is down here with the Nyx, but they'll throw the stun out. It will be 2 seconds, and Afu, all he's got is the Impale. So, I mean, he's forced to eat a lot of damage, although Pasha He's taking a lot of damage as well, as all he's got is that static link, but he throws it back at Flyby, so he has to be careful in this bottom lane. I mean, this is a decent combination of CK as well as the Razor, if you're not too careful.
It's pretty good, but I also feel like Darkseer plus Nyx is pretty good. If they can set up a stun with the 2 Ion Shells, especially if they can get to that level 3 with the Nyx and the Darkseer, then they have some kill potential via the magic damage. It's an interesting lane because it's kind of like one of those lanes where both of the blue lanes don't really care that much about the other one, what they do, and it's kind of even as a result because the skills just, you know, Darkseer doesn't care if you drain his physical damage. I guess the Surge really helps, that you can just surge away from the Link, but then you have the stun of the Chaos Knight, so yeah, it's about even.
Yeah, we'll see how it progresses.
Even, the mid lane, apparently.
They've got Dazzle at 11 and 2 to 7 and 3 Asetsu. And I would think that Queen of Pain would do much better in this lane, but it also comes down to how good of an offlaner you are, I feel like, with a matchup like this.
Yeah, no one's pretty hard to contest in general. This guy's really aggressive, and Dazzle's one of his more signature heroes in the past couple of patches, so he's well versed in this.
They didn't get Afu. Afu comes over with Flyby running at Roger for a moment. Now they finally hit the Impale on Pasha with the Ion Shell on top of Afu. He'll run at Pasha, but he won't be able to get the kill.
It's basically a self-for-self trade in the lane. That's surprisingly even, and what's kind of more surprising is that VP is letting the lanes be like this. They must be okay with the fact that they think this Razor lane is easier to win if they're in the safe lane than if they were to be in the off lane versus the Darkseer Nyx Assassin, because the Darkseer Nyx would then have the pull to work with it. Here they only have the side pull, which is something that VP could look to contest, but still, I really think that VP could completely dominate these lanes if they just got the lanes right, but I guess they don't want to just spend the entire game swapping up the lanes. Maybe they value the enemy supports getting farm more than their supports, so they're like, alright, we don't want to just give their supports farm, because we'll lose. Darkseer goes and cuts the wave.
Yeah, I feel like that's the play here. He wasn't really finding much farm, even with the Ion Shells, so he needs to cut the wave and come over.
Yep. This also frees up Afu to go towards the top lane and potentially kill the Shadow Demon. Dark's a little hard to kill. You need to do some pretty sick combo on him because there's no stun to set up for the Nyx Impale. It's just pure damage coming from Lifestealer and Keeper of the Light. But they could still harass the Jug out here.
If you can get the Jug out of the lane and get Monet to a little bit of an advantage, that would be nice. If you pull possibly the Disruption early, you could get a kill if it's early enough where then the Nyx comes through and throws the Impale, but you need to be careful.
Yeah.
And I think he roamed over mid for a second. And they actually look over at Roger because Afu's coming over. They've got the Ion Shell right on top. The bottle used. Roger throws the stun out, steals the bounty rune, and
the
surge.
That would have been sick.
Reality Rift trying to get in front. But now Roger is in a whole heaping of trouble with the Ion Shell. On top of him, he goes towards the Shrine. And after all that, I didn't realize that was only first blood.
Yeah, and he even gave the first blood to the Darkseer, too. The Darkseer was actually just out of experience range, I believe, so letting the Ion Shell tick down, that gives Darkseer experience that he otherwise wouldn't have gotten, so they both get gold and experience. So nicely played by RNG. I get why Roger was going for that, because it's like, oh, I'll trade my life for the bounty rune. That's probably worth it, but and not so much when it's first blood. Even they didn't realize it was, well, I'm sure they did.
Send Ramsey's bottom to go after Flyby with Roger here. Blade Fury, a couple more shots. Flyby trying to navigate these trees, but navigates back into the sword of Ramsey's.
Yeah, hard to dodge the Jug's attacks because his BFP is just so low that he can just A-click, and if you come in vision, he hits you. It's quite unfortunate. So they swap the lanes, but as a result, RNG, they swap the lanes as well. Send Lifestealer down here. He actually comes down with the static link on him.
Oh my god, Lanham taking so much damage. He's surged away, but on top of that, I mean, that Razor was doing so much. Again, Virtus.pro just very much in the lead here, and although they're playing musical lanes a little bit, they're happy with the way that this has resulted for them.
Yeah, Razor and Jug are farming really well. I think it's kind of like each of the cores in each of the lanes is doing slightly better than the RNG cores. So I would like to just chalk that up to VP being the slightly higher skilled team in terms of individual skill, because I really do think that VP didn't get the lanes right, and if they're getting any kills in these lanes or making any plays in these lanes,
they're gonna try.
if this is... Man.
They went for Monet for a moment, but getting under the tower, that is a problem. But the Impale comes out after the spin. They've got the open wounds out on a Ramses. Looking for the kill. Roger trying to get in front once again. The Illuminate is used, and Monet will take the life of Ramses.
Definitely didn't expect the Jug to die, but Lifestealer's going to farm down here. And with that kill, I mean, he's the highest net worth in the game. And like I was saying, I really didn't expect VP to get much out of these lanes, because if you're on a pub and RNG and your enemy team has these lanes and you have VP's lanes, you're just feeding. It's RNG got exactly the lanes that they wanted, and they even have Queen of Pain out leveling the Dazzle now, so not doing too bad. What is that? Is there some deny discrepancy going on here? Yeah, Queen of Pain has 21 denies.
29 and 21, yeah.
But
they have the disruption. Spike Carapace, is it going to be enough? They don't get the stun off the Invis rune. Ooh, Hafu.
Very
make an escape.
That
That is a godsend. At what point do we see Setsu kind of maybe make a move with the Sonic Wave? Is there a lane that he can really go to, or is he?
God, I kind of feel like you're cool just chilling here, and instead of making like an aggressive rotation to help a lane, because your lanes are doing fine, you just hold the TP and hold the Sonic Wave and make a defensive rotation. So like, if VP ever makes a big move, Setsu can just show up with the Sonic Wave, given that he has enough mana, of course. This would be a decent time because he's going back to base. That's kind of like when it comes to rotations in general, I would prefer to make rotations based on what's going on in your lane.
What's the static length and the 2-second stun on the Apu? That came to the wrong neighborhood there.
Razor does so much damage with the... He's actually maxing Unstable Current. Just helps him farm so much faster if you have this skill maxed out. 120 damage every 3 seconds is quite a lot. This hero used to not be able to farm, not be able to come back, and that is no longer the case. Razor's quite good.
See if he can get this stack. Too hard for him.
Flyby. Heading over, though.
And he heads over, but at the same time...
Kills.
Is that a solo kill with Sonic Wave? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a solo kill. He went for 3 points in Shadow Strike, so no one just taking way too much damage, and this ability in 7.21 was buffed. So it does 10 more damage at the current level that it's at.
I'm T-toursing it up. As Ramses goes down.
That one either. The lane that I expected kills in is like the Darkseer Nyx lane, not the Eggs versus Jug. Not easy to kill a Jug. Just press the spin and TPs.
Looks over at Roger for a moment, but Flyby. It's got level 6, but it's just 3 in the Iron Shell, 3 in the Surge. And, I mean, they've got double the amount of kills at the moment. Pasha continuing to farm inside the jungle. Meanwhile, the Queen of Pain running away with a poison touch on him. He's got to make sure that doesn't get put back on, and we'll stay at the top of the stairs, able to survive for now. He's got a full bottle, too, so not really in a risky spot if he just backs off and drinks up.
He's got a haste rune too, looks to be saving it so he can use this shrine and then maybe use the haste rune to gank and get back to the mid lane a little bit quicker. With this build that he's gone, where he's maxing the Shadow Strike and Stream of Pain, he's got a 15-second cooldown blink, so having, you know, Boots having a haste rune is much more effective with this sort of build. He does a lot of damage with that max Shadow Strike. I've kind of felt like people should go for this build for quite some time. Shadow Strike in the screen just does so much damage.
Yeah,
it's here on the mid lane.
Yeah, no one
Forces
trying to
a
run away.
rotation.
You get the rotation out, the Impale comes through. 3-second stun, though. Oh, wow. And then the shell.
Oh my god! And then he levels up the grave with the kill. Oh, then he saves himself with the heal. That couldn't have been more perfect. If they don't get the kill there, he doesn't level up and he doesn't get grave. He did not have grave unless he was saving his skill point. But I believe that he leveled up with all the creeps that died in the Queen of Pain, and then he just skilled grave.
Getting lucky there. Nice. 3 second stun. Anything less probably would have resulted in the Queen of Pain getting away.
Yeah, she could have used the second screw in Pain too. So a little bit lucky, capitalizing on the stun. Roger and Solo heading to the top lane, but Afu is here and he is vendetta with an Iron Shell on him. Queen of Pain is here too. This looks really bad for VP.
Yeah, they're going on to Monet, and they'll also use the ult on Roger. They move forward, trying to get this kill onto the Razor. And Asha running away, but Sonic Wave comes through. They'll get themselves at least one. They look over Roger. That's going to be a second. As he finally ticks out. I didn't want to Caster's Curse it up right there, as somehow he runs away. But the Impale comes up short of Solo, and they don't exactly... Oh,
he's going for it.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't think he was going to go on that, as Ramses is now here, and he's got Omni Slash. Setsu doesn't have Blink for another 4 seconds. Oh, Scream. Dagger.
Ramses just isn't sure of the Blink cooldown because you never know if Queen of Pain is level 3 in the Shadow Strike, level 2, level 1. He just doesn't want to waste the Omni. Even if he did Omni, maybe with the Queen of Pain's HP, you don't even kill her. But, yeah, that was a really nice defensive rotation from Setsu, and also from Afu. Having the Iron Shell on him, effectively the Darkseer was there, but he wasn't. Like, that was just really well read by RNG, completely obliterating VP's aggressive rotation with an even better defensive one. And I think if you're going late game, you'd prefer to be RNG. You have a Naix who is going to build into an eventual Radiance. He's got his Hand of Midas. Dazzle kind of falls off. CK's a support. Razor kind of falls off.
But you've got a CK who's going into the Midas, so can he find himself growing into possibly that 4th core?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and then also you do have a Shadow Demon versus a Lifestealer Radiance, so you're going to get one of those Radiances for yourself if you can get him without the Rage, and even if he does use the Rage, you have the BKB Piercing Demonic Purge to use on him in the fights. But this isn't your typical pub Lifestealer where there's no counters to him. They have counters. They have ways to deal with him. Even CK is quite difficult for Lifestealer to deal with, and Juggernaut, because he just presses the Omni. It's all physical. The Enraged is absolutely nothing to deal with the Juggernaut.
But Ramses again, there's the Will-O-Wisp, as well as the wall getting placed down by Flyby. Quick little kill there onto the Jug. They should be able to grab themselves the tower on top of that.
That combo, man, the Vacuum plus the Will-O-Wisp. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that in the mid to late game, winning team fights. Really hard to fight into either of these two heroes. Let alone both of them.
Coming around to try and get a kill. Spike Carapace gets used. Roger holding the stun, waiting for the Spike Carapace to run out. The Impale is going to be thrown over at no one. And then Afu will end up falling. And they don't get the tower either. So, you know, this rotation from VP forces RNG away. And on top of that, holds their tower.
Yeah, doing a really good job at holding these towers. You know, you get one tower, and it's like there's a little bit less than 1k gold lead for RNG, but the way I see towers is like it's a potential gold lead because it opens up more of the map for you to safely farm. So even though like the gold lead can look like it's not a lot, if you have a tower, it's going to amount to something eventually. So even though RNG is looking pretty good in terms of their farm, they really do need to start getting some towers and not just allowing VP to defend them with a few heroes.
Vendetta used here by Afu. The Sentry Ward is going to be placed down by Solo's got the disruption. And now we'll try and get the kill. Turnaround here for RNG. The 2-second stun comes through as well as the ulti by Roger. And they rip through Afu. Flyby dies as well. Solo keeps his life. Nobody... Oh, never mind. I was going to say nobody died. But the Sonic Wave comes out. And Setsu claims a life.
Oh, I was gonna say he should cut the wave. Yeah, with the level 3 in the blink, the level 4 in the blink, it's very easy for him to cut this wave. Pasha is just completely wasting his time here. This does nothing. Other than, oh, he has a Yule Scepter. I mean, this still does nothing. There's no way they keep chasing him. Really nicely played by Setsu. There's very little to disable Setsu on the side of VP. It's just the Chaos Knight. And you can even blink dodge the stun. So speaking of Chaos Knight,
yeah, stunned up
out here in the jungle.
Flyby coming over, and don't have the damage.
He doesn't have he used the vacuum already. It's a 60-second cooldown.
God, that is
I wonder
so
if Roger
long.
knew that he had no vacuum. Or if he knew that he didn't have the vacuum. Maybe that was communicated by somebody on his team. Was like, oh, get out, this guy's no vacuum.
Spike
Maybe
Harvest
you're
comes
slucky.
through. Stuns up Pasha, but they've got the disruption still on Setsu. The two-man stun from Afu. That's going to help keep Setsu alive. But now Afu's on the run with the poison touch on him, and you look how hard they right-click. They're in a little bit of trouble, but nicely done by Lanham to make sure that they are able to get Afu out and actually even turn this looking for Solo. He's just got to find the Impale. He winds up 3 times, never throws it, and then thinks, I need to get out of here.
This is good for VP because they have a well, killing him. That's obviously great, but having Roger just farming the mid lane. VP is a team that does this a lot, where they will essentially like pass the torch of space creation and space taking between not only cores, but they'll give support space if they need it. And they're giving it to Roger right now because they know it's way more effective for one of the cores, aka the Razor, to be fighting, and then Roger taking that space. And then once Roger gets strong, they'll give him space, and somebody else will take the space. And this is the way the VP ends up with like every one of their heroes being very effective in a game. And they've always been quite good at this, just giving the right hero form at the right time when the enemy team is taking like a 4v3 fight. And in this case, they actually get a kill, despite having 2 heroes that are free farming on the other side of the map. Really good stuff.
Should it be worrying that Monet is top of the net worth by quite a large margin?
It's hard to say. Like I feel like with how this hero has looked in pubs recently, you should be worried because boy, the Radiance lifesteal has looked great. That kind of shadow.
God, Setsu trying to get out of this one. They've got the Spike Carapace. That's going to lock in Solo for a moment, but you don't have any follow-up here. Afu's ready to throw a stun, but where's the rest of the team? Solo places a deep ward that I believe immediately gets pinged out there. Solo disruption, but still nobody coming over to help out this man. He's just making his team space, and they throw the vacuum, which again is, well, level 2, so has that 50-second cooldown.
Yeah, and Setsu had a regen rune too, so he... that play that was on him didn't really amount to anything other than Shadow Demon just getting himself killed. And now he picks up the Yule Scepter, so he's even more difficult to kill because the only way that they could lock him down was with the Chaos Knight stun, and now the CK is going to have that stun dodged if Setsu is quick with his reaction time. So that's why he runs up to the top lane on Setsu, because he knows that he can play the dead lane right now, and he's safe. Any other hero could potentially die.
Monet doesn't die from that. Now they look over at Flyby. They do have Reality Rift as well as a stun to throw at this Darkseer who would drop down the wall. Phantasm gets used with the Impale as well as the Will-O-Wisp, but they've got the Blade Fury for now. Trying to take out the Will-O-Wisp. Won't be able to do so just yet. And finally one more shot comes through, but Ramsey's going to be chased by Monet as well. Setsu coming in. The Blinding Light's going to be thrown out by Lanham. They'll get themselves at least one towards the side. Roger and Solo, they'll run away as I believe the Impale back over towards the Dazzle. They're trying to get themselves at least another kill. The Spike Carapace immediately onto Pasha. Monet starting to right-click away. Flyby goes down to Solo off screen as they throw the dagger out here to Pasha. Lanham taking a lot of damage. You can't just stick in there and fight this Razor, but they'll end up getting the kill, and now they'll look for even more. Jules comes in with the Impale to follow it up, and no one. He's got the Shallow Grave, but how much is that going to be worth? And it looks like it's worth nothing, just some time.
Oh my god, what a timing too. The bounty rune spawn, so they're going to get all 4 bounties with the Ninja Assassin TPing top. Would you believe that that fight was before the Lifestealer Radiance? They were just fighting the Sacred Relic in that fight, and it looked that good. Honestly, the initial bait by the Darkseer and then getting away at 10% HP, they wasted so much time trying to kill him. And he actually kind of split the fight where I believe it was Solo plus the Chaos Knight, who is the only stun on the VP side, were over chasing this Darkseer around. And he ends up dying, but as a result, the fight is split, and the only 2 heroes with disables on the side of VP are busy essentially trying to kill a guy that should have died right at the start of the fight anyway. So just really nicely played by RNG, and VP kind of screwing up a little bit in their prioritization in the team fights. Like, they weren't on the same page there.
And then I take a look at Ramses, who is second to the net worth. He's got this Battle Fury, but lagging terribly behind Monet, which is a little bit of a surprise. Spike Carapace again to stun up Solo. And that is an easy pick-off for RNG. When you could set up that Nyx just like that. Now they go after Pasha as well.
751 movement speed.
The vacuum into the wall. Nicely done to land on 3 of these heroes. And now they're going to move for more. Blade Fury is going to be used here by the Jug. Ramsey's trying to get away, but there go those trees. That opens up a lot of space here for RNG to get some work done. Sonic Wave comes through. They get the kill on a no one. Now they look over at Pasha. That's going to be a third there for RNG. That was, again, just ambitious from RNG, but pays off. I mean, that's all off the back of a Spike Carapace from the Nyx Assassin, and they look to get Ramses, but the Blade Fury immediately as his feet touches the ground, he'll start spinning. This is a tier 1, this is a tier 2 possibly, and then 3 kills on top of that.
Yeah, this is a great timing for RNG. That's why I was kind of surprised that they took the fight before the Radiance, because Monet was so close to it, but they were just really confident that despite not having the Radiance yet, they could take that fight. And with the Radiance, it's much easier to make a decision like that. They literally just run mid and take any fight, and it's devastating, as it should be with the Lifestealer Radiance timing. And, you know, I was saying how this hero is relatively counterable and overrated, but this is not going to be the case if he is 2 or 3k ahead of the Battle Fury Juggernaut in terms of net worth. Like, if this guy is completely huge in this game, which he is, yeah, he's gonna be a problem. They need to deal with him, but how do they do it? They don't have any stun. They just have the Chaos Knight stun and the Shadow Demon. But where's the damage?
It's a lot to put on the CK and the Shadow Demon, it feels like, in terms of getting that locked down. Yeah, it has to be precise.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, Afu. Every single time with the Spike Carapace, he just comes in and they'll get an easy kill on a Pasha.
He's got a Midas too on Afu, so he's going to scale very nicely with 90 GPM plus a Midas, and he's 1,100 gold towards the Blink, and within a couple of minutes he'll probably have it, given that he's getting kills, has a Midas, and has a gold talent. This guy's going to be a core.
And right off the bat, they're not going to lay down. That's a kill into a smoke. They're just continuing to move forward. RNG not taking their foot off the pedal. They're going to look for more and see what they can do, and they look over for Solo. Moons comes out. Solo getting low, but here's the rest of the team, and they'll stop the TP. I think that was like right at the last moment they were able to stop that TP because they saw just Monet and thought about coming in, but when you see the rest of the team like that, you have to stop it, otherwise you're probably going to feed a second.
Oh, yeah. Poor Solo, man. He was just trying to get a Lifestealer illusion because of the Radiance. It was the greatest bait. You just stand there with the Radiance and then press rage when he comes up to take it. Double damage room right outside of Roshan, so RNG could look to Roche with this with the power spike. Lifestealer building into a Lincoln Sphere too to deal with that Razor counter.
Oh, Ramses, you gotta be careful. There's a Spike Carapace. Battle Fury is your demise. And Setsu comes in with the double damage and the Sonic Wave to get the kill.
Afu's being so annoying in this game. He is completely reading VP like a book. Like, he is... That was his own jungle that he was scouting within this. He knew Ramses would be there.
He doesn't have any kills, but he's got 13 assists.
Yeah,
he's been involved in 13 of the 18, and now they look over at the CK. Here comes Afu once again. Spike Carapace comes out. The Impale lands. And it's just going to be another easy kill here for the side of RNG. Stun me up, but I don't care. I've got Setsu to finish you off.
He just knows, like, the cheeky plays that VP's going to make when they're behind. He knows that Jug's going to be farming this jungle. He knows that the Chaos Knight is going to go for the run.
As well as the wall. They've got the Will-O-Wisp on top of that. Solo comes through. They've got the Yules on Pasha, or used by Pasha on himself. This is Will-O-Wisp and wall used by RNG to find absolutely nothing at the moment, while Ramses tries to sneak on in and possibly find an Omni-Slash to start.
Yeah, that was a good place for VP to fight, and you could kind of tell that they...
It's every time. The Spike Carapace into the Impale, they might think about going. They don't have Vacuum Wall or the Will-O-Wisp, so they need to be careful. The Blink Dagger is going to be picked up here by the Nyx, but the Open Wounds comes down. The Yule is going to be used again by Razor.
Lifestealer, I should say, Monet is doing a very good job at playing around the Razor, just not allowing himself to get damage drained, and if he does have all of his damage drained, you can see that he calls for his team to get out. Like, they backed off that Shrine fight because it wasn't looking good. Lifestealer had all of his damage drained. in that fight, he doesn't go in because it's a Razor. Like, you can tell that this guy knows how to play this hero versus a Razor. He's doing a very good job at it. Otherwise, it would look like VP would be doing a lot better in these fights for sure. And he's going for the Lincoln Sphere. He's very close to it. One of the few times you'll see a Lincoln Sphere pick up in most games of Dota these days. Setsu just uses the ultimate because he has Aghanims and regen rune.
Up in 27 more seconds. And that is 35.2 seconds until it's back up.
Yeah, that's an interesting pickup actually, the Aghanim Scepter on Queen of Pain, because now that the ultimate knocks back, it's got that little bit of extra utility, because of course if you're getting knocked back, you are disabled for that duration. And,
again. They've got Sonic Wave in 4 seconds. They'll get the stun with the Impale, and then 1 second more. Throw it out, and they get the easy kill. Setsu with another one. Ramses dying for the 6th time. When was the last time you saw Ramses get demolished this early?
Just this game. He usually doesn't die that much.
Maybe he was on Team Spirit back then when this happened last time?
That sounds like the team that he would be on, who dies a lot. He usually just doesn't die without purpose. That's the thing. It's usually like if he dies, it's because he's the player that's dedicated to making space at that point. But he's taking the space in this game and dying because RNG is just setting really nice gangs on him. And he's going for the sheep stick on Setsu. So lots of disable coming out for the Juggernaut. Even after he gets a little bit more effective HP, he doesn't die in the next combo, so they're going to have that disable.
This is disgusting right now. Because RNG, they're flooding the map. They are pressuring all spots on the map. You think you're safe for a moment. Even, you know, forced at that point to be inside RNG's jungle.
Dude, I'm telling you, Afu's play has been physically repulsive this game. It's absolutely disgusting. This guy's everywhere. He doesn't even have a lifestealer inside of him going for these ganks. He's just setting up these with the Queen of Pain all around the map. It's been a long time since I've seen a Nyx Assassin be this useful.
It sets up on the Razor. He has put himself in a position where Jug is farming and a Battle Fury, you know, he gets hit by the Cleave just to get the Spike Carapace off.
Yeah.
He has been absolutely disgusting in this game. The warding too has been so impressive from RNG.
Yeah, that helps them get these pickoffs. That is something that super, you know, as casters we see everybody's vision. They kind of do as well because the wards are
go for flyby, but the blinding light, I think that was as the vacuum came in, so they did touch the wall for a moment. Flyby ends up dying. The BKB is going to be popped by Pasha. Setsu looking to go in. Monet, he starts to run back. And the Illuminate comes through, but it's not really going to do much of anything. And we'll see if they're able to get the kill on a Monet, who will now turn it with the Lincolns being popped. The disruption comes out. Setsu was thinking about going in, trying to get a scream as well as the dagger off, but the Shallow Grave will be there. The Omni Slash comes through, but it's not going to be enough to get the kill on Afu just yet. Finally, with the Blade Fury, they'll get themselves a second, but they lose themselves. Pasha, the open wounds on to Roger, who's trying to run with it, with the Reality Rift coming through on a Setsu. 2 seconds stun. 2 minutes would be way too much on to Setsu as he finally blinks away. Roger continuing to be on the run, but Setsu coming through the Armlet toggle and a 2-second stun again. The Sonic Wave finally thrown. That's going to be a second here for RNG. Meanwhile, Ramses gets the kill on the Lanham. So 2 for 3, but this is looking like Dazzle Stamp. Oh, Afu missing the stun. It's not going to matter, but it seemed like, you know, for the game he's having, one mistake will give up.
That was a really good call from RNG. I really thought that was the fight for VP to turn the game around, if there was any fight. And when you're fighting into, you know, like 7 or 6 or whatever it is, time major winning team that is VP, it's kind of scary to give them the fight that you know that they want to take. But RNG made the decision. Like, we're at a disadvantage.
He's going after Ramses. Flyby. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah, they need the Nyx stuns as well. That's been crucial in killing the Juggernaut. Other than that, they don't have much. Lifestealer has the full Sanjin Yasha at this point. It's a great item.
So far ahead, too. Look at where Monet is compared to Jug and then the Dazzle, even. It's disgusting.
He is just running through the enemy jungle alone. And they're running away. I mean, I guess they're not wrong. His RNG is smoked up and heading down there, so Monet is playing aggressive with a purpose. But he was, you know, relatively on his own. Just not much you can do to a lifestealer who's this farmed with an Aegis.
Oh my god, again. Afu always knows. Yules comes out, Ramses comes over. He throws down the healing ward, the Illuminate comes in, and now, let's see what they're able to do. VP look for a response to reality with 3-second stun. That's going to be on the Afu. We're trying to get away with Wave here on top of him. Monet comes through, and Afu's not dead yet with the vacuum wall coming in, as well as the Impale as well, and the Sonic Wave! That hit everybody! That hit literally everybody! They get 3 kills immediately. Juggernaut uses the Omni Slash, but it's not going to matter. They get 4! And this is going to be a full team wipe in the favor of RNG. They buy back on no one, but it's not going to matter. What is the buyback even for? Why? Everything hit so well.
Radiant's top tower.
Those are rage buybacks. Those are rage buybacks if I've ever seen them. I mean, what's the point? You're gonna respawn for the Rax defense anyway. You're not gonna defend these tier 2s.
Oh my god.
They're losing it.
Top tower has fallen.
There's like 1 or 2 times I've seen VP lose it like this.
Radiant's
They're not in
Comes
the
the
good
Hex.
stages.
Solo. He'll get run down by RNG. RNG are invading this base, and they just don't care.
It's a dieback. They lost.
That's 2 diebacks. No one's not going to be able to make it out of this. The reality rip comes through again. We'll see what Pasha is able to do, and no one actually surviving for a moment, but he ends up falling. That's going to be 90 seconds on the sideline with the BKB being popped by Pasha. Aegis gets reclaimed. Monet continuing to move on forward. Roger in a lot of trouble, and GG's going to be called. 33 minutes. RNG win the game. I don't know if anybody expected this.
I definitely didn't. I want to put this all back to like, I really think that VP picked a good draft to win the lanes, but they didn't get the right lane matchups. And it's not typical to see VP get the wrong lanes and then not just relentlessly swap. I think if there's anything to take from this game, it's that they need to go back to their doing whatever it takes to get the right lanes. Like, they would even lane a Magnus in a situation where it's like a 52% win rate instead of a 50% win rate, because that's how much these guys usually care about getting the right lanes. But in this game, they just kind of accepted defeat a little bit. And RNG, off the back of a bunch of really nice ganks and good lanes, were able to win this one.
That last fight was amazing. That, I mean, they hit everything. Everything just came in at the right time. That Impale hit 3 heroes.
Yep. And then the Sonic Wave
pushed
right
them into through the
fast.
wall.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't. And it permanently slows too. If you're in the wall, it slows you for the duration that you're in it. So that's effectively a disable if you're pushing people back into it.
Oh
Monet didn't die a single time in that game.
He wasn't pressured the entire game.
He had literally 0 deaths. Did it even look like he was going to die at any point in that game?
Not really. I mean, there was one point where he Infest popped and he was low, I think, diving the tier 1 tower early in the game? But that was about it.
Oh yeah, right. And then he went into the trees. And...
Oh
yeah, but other than that, he was looking pretty good. He played really well on the Lifestealer, I think. This is a game where he's basically hard countered. What is life? All of these heroes in some way are a counter to Lifestealer, if not a hard counter, and he still had the game of his life. So he's that's just a testament to how well he plays the hero, how much he knows the hero.
That was great from RNG. I mean, you should feel very proud about a win like that. They were sitting at 0-1. Now they're 1-1. I mean, against VP, when you pick up a win in a group stage where you're up, you play everybody, picking it up against one of the strongest teams is very important. So
it wasn't just a fluke either. They outplayed them in a lot of ways. It was a complete outskill when it came to the ganks and the team fights. They just looked amazing in terms of their execution of those things.
Yeah. So I mean, congrats to RNG. We'll be back in just a moment with our next game, which is eHome versus IG. And eHome are, I believe, playing with Jinkyu, who is formerly of Serenity. Then he had some controversy, or not controversy, that's always such a odd word. It was just some disagreement with Serenity with something, and he's been teamless. I think he's technically still on contract, but he's been teamless since then, and apparently he played really well in the Liquid game despite them losing. So I mean, hey, we'll see what happens if they're able to beat IG. At least currently, I believe they're 0-1. They aren't playing right now, so they've got we've got eHome twice, actually. eHome versus IG, and then eHome versus Newbie coming up, and then the kick it to the end is RNG versus EG. So we'll be back with that in just a moment. Stay right there. We'll be back soon, and get something to eat, get something to drink. It's a long day of Dota.